Hi fashion lovers, you're welcome to another interesting video. Trust you're all doing well. In today's tutorial, we are going to be learning how to make this short kaftan bubu dress with a yoke attached to it. As you can see, it is actually very easy and simple to make. So if you're interested in learning how to achieve this bubu dress with this yoke attached to it, kindly watch the video to the very end and don't forget to like this video, share, and thank you all. Let's get started. To get started, I'm going to be making use of this African print fabric, and I have 2 yards of this fabric. So if you want your sleeve to be a bit longer, you might need to make use of 2.5 yards or 3 yards of fabric. So this is me folding it for the first time. You can see, did you see that? Folding it, the length is by 45 inches, and then when you have folded the first time, you want to go ahead and fold it for the second time. Did you see? You want to go ahead and fold it for the second time. So it's now in 4 fold, and the reason why I folded it into 4 is because I want to cut the front and the back at the same time. So at this point my camera went off and I've already finished this part before I realized it. So I'm going to be using another fabric to demonstrate it for you. So I'm going to be using another fabric to cut out that part that my camera cut off. So the first thing after you are done folding your fabric into 4 is to mark out your starting point line of 1 inch, which is also going to serve as your shoulder measurement. Did you see that? After you have done that, you want to go ahead and divide your shoulder by 4. You go ahead and divide your shoulder by 2. After marking half of your shoulder measurement, you go ahead and mark the length of your sleeve. So I think the length I have was 10 inches after marking half of my shoulder measurement. Did you see that? So I'm going to be using the entire fabric as the length. So I marked half of my shoulder measurement and then went ahead to mark the sleeve length. So on that sleeve length, you want to come down by 1.5 inches, which is going to serve as your shoulder slope. So that 1.5 inches is going to serve as your shoulder slope. So what you want to do is measure 3 inches on the shoulder line. Measure 3 inches on the shoulder line and take your shoulder slope to that 3 inches on the shoulder line. So you can use 1.5 inches as your shoulder slope. Then you want to also go ahead and mark the neck width of 4 inches. And for the back, I'm going to be coming down by 1.5 inches. So I marked the neck width of 4 inches, and the back I came down by 1.5 inches for the neckline. For the neck depth of the front, I'm going to come down by 7 inches. For the neck depth of the front, I'm going to come down by 7 inches. And from the neck width, which is 4 inches, you want to go ahead and connect. So this is actually very easy. This is me trying to show you how I achieved that design on the main fabric. So after the shoulder slope, you want to go ahead after the shoulder slope and mark your sleeve opening of 10 inches. Mark your sleeve opening of 10 inches and come down by 1 inch, which is going to be your sewing allowance. So altogether you are marking 11 inches, and after you are done that, you mark a straight line like this. So from that point, you want to input the biggest body measurement. It can be your waist or your hip. In this case is the hip. You divide the hip by 4. Divide your hip by 4 and then go ahead and add 3 inches or 4 inches. In my own case, I added 4 inches. Do you understand? So you mark half your 1/4 of your hip measurement if your hip is the biggest, and then add 4 inches to it. The 4 inches, 3 inches is serving as the ease, while 1 inch is serving as the sewing allowance. And whatever you have, you want to go ahead and mark it till you get to the end of your fabric. Then you grab your straight ruler and then go ahead and create a straight line. Did you see that? So at this point, you are going to be making a curve. This is going to be serving as the armhole curve. Did you see? Very easy. So the next thing is from the shoulder, I'm going to go ahead and mark the length I'm going to be using. So the length I want this to be is 30 38 inches, so I'm cutting out 36.5. So because I'm still going to be adding a band of 2 inches, so I'm cutting out 36.5. The length I'm using here is 36.5 because I'm still going to be adding a band of 2 inches to make it 38 inches as the full length. So you want to go ahead and cut off this part because you are not going to be needing it. So the next thing is to go ahead and cut the back, and to cut the back you want to add ½ inch on the neckline and also add ½ inch on the shoulder line. Did you see? And then you want to go ahead and cut the body of the dress. So when you are done, you want to open it up and take off the back part, the part that is going to serve as the back. You take it off and then you are left with this part, which is the front part. So to cut the front, you want to add ½ inch sewing allowance to it as you are cutting, and then this is what you are going to achieve. So that is what I did to achieve this part. I'm very sorry about that. I hope you are very clear. So the next thing is to grab a piece of paper. Did you see? And then try placing this. The piece of paper should be long enough, so try placing these parts to it, the main bodies to it. Did you see? So this is for me to cut out the facing or the yoke attached to it. So this is for me to cut out the yoke attached to it. So when you have placed your piece of fabric, your piece of pattern like this, you want to go ahead and cut off the neck part, the shoulder part, and the sleeve opening part. Did you see? The sleeve opening part. Did you see that? So after I was done with that, I will grab the piece of fabric. What I'm trying to do here is to get the yoke part. So from this part, which is the neckline, I'm still going to come down by 3 inches. So I came down by 3.5 inches. Did you see that? I came down by 3.5 inches, and from here I'm going to mark 8 inches from the shoulder, from the neckline to that shoulder part. I marked 8 inches. So this is me trying to achieve that yoke. So I'm trying to use my hand, but then let me use a curve. Did you see? So I'm trying to like use a curve to get that yoke. Did you see? I'm trying to use a curve. Remember, I came down by 3.5 inches from the depth of the neckline, and on the shoulder I marked 8 inches. So I used my curve ruler to like blend it. So this is me trying to get the yoke, the way the yoke is. So this is what I have, and I think is actually like, I think this is actually okay. So I'll go ahead and cut it. Trust me, getting the yoke is actually very easy. So let me just cut it out. So after I was done, so this part will be on fold. Did you see? This part will be on fold. Did you see that? You're going to add your ½ inch and ½ inch and ½ inch all around it, and then that part will be on fold. Remember, I came down from that neck part by 3.5 inches. So for this one, I'm going to now place it on my main fabric. So you also want to like come down by that 3.5 inches that you made on your own fabric, and then you want to place it. You want to place the yoke. Did you see? You want to place this part because we want to cut off that yoke part so that we can replace it with a black fabric. I don't know if you understood what I'm saying, but please follow what I'm doing. Is actually very easy. So that part that I cut off on that pattern paper, so you also want to measure here. Make sure you have that 8 inches that you measured out on the other pattern paper that has been cut out. Then you want to use your pin and hold this down. So but as you are cutting, you want to now add ½ inch you're not cutting everything. You want to add half inch that you're going to be using to join the black parts to the main fabric. Did you see? You add half inch that you're going to be using to join the black parts to the main fabric. So by the time you open it up, this is what you are going to have. Did you see that? That is actually very easy and simple. So the next thing is to grab my fabric. I'm using a crepe fabric, and then you want to like fold it and then place your fabric like this. Did you see that point? That point, you want to place it on fold. Did you see that? You want to keep that point on fold because it's actually going to be on fold. And then with your pin, you want to hold this down. You want to hold the pattern to the main fabric. So the next thing is to add all your necessary sewing allowance. Did you see? I've added on the neckline, on this part, on the shoulder and the main neckline. So I will go ahead and cut it out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this part with my lining. I'm going to be using my lining to also cut it out. So you want to go ahead and place this on your lining and cut it out on the lining so that you'll be able to finish up the neckline. So when I open it up, this is what I'm going to have. Did you see that? This is what I'm going to have. So let me just work on the facing, or sorry, on the yoke now. I've gone ahead to cut out a lining and I've attached an interfacing, a hairstay to the main fabric. So I've attached an interfacing to the main fabric, and this is my lining. I'm going to be placing the right side of the facing will face the right side of the lining. Did you see? The right side of the yoke, sorry, will face the right side of the lining. Then you want to go ahead and sew by half an inch on the V neckline. So when I was done, this is what I have. You want to notch to the end, but make sure you don't cut through the line. Then you want to take out your time and notch very, very well. So after you are done notching, you want to turn it to the right side, flip it to the right side. Then you can go to your ironing board to press it down. Did you see that? So this is what I have for the yoke part. So if you want your yoke to be bigger than this, you can decide to make it more bigger. So you want to grab the main fabric and then go ahead and attach it. Did you see? You want to grab the main fabric and go ahead and attach the yoke to the main fabric like this. Did you see that? That's actually very easy and simple. And when you are done, if you have any excess, you want to go ahead and cut it off. So you want to join the yoke to the main fabric. So after I was done, this is what I have. I have gone ahead to attach the yoke to the main fabric. I believe we all know how to attach this. I believe we all know how to do this V on the yoke part now. So the next thing is to cut out the pocket, and this is actually the only fabric I have after I was done. So I will just go ahead and make do with what I have as the pocket. So just put your hand and then cut it out. So you're cutting out 4 pieces for this. So if you're using like 2.5 yards or you're using 3 yards, you should have enough material to cut out your yoke, your pocket. I'm a very slim person, so that is why I'm making use of 2 yards. So after I was done cutting the pocket, the next thing is to notch where the pocket is going to be on my dress. So from the shoulder, you measure your waist line plus 1 inch. So if your waist is 15 inches, you are measuring 16 inches, and then after that you want to fold it into two to notch where you are going to be putting your pocket. So measure your shoulder to the waistline and add 1 inch. Did you see? And so I'm notching at 16 inches, and I'm also going to do the same for the back. I'll also go ahead and notch at that 16 inches. So I'm going to grab my pocket. Right side of the pocket will face the right side of the main fabric on that 16 inches that I notched, and I'll keep it there and then go ahead and join it. I will also do the same for the back. So for the back now, I will go ahead and cut a facing for the back. Just grab a piece of fabric that is on fold. Place your neckline, your back neckline on that folded edge, and then trace the neckline like this. Did you see? And also trace the shoulder part like this. So that is how to cut your facing, and then you can do a curve around this point. Did you see? And that becomes your facing. You want to go ahead, grab this, open this up, and place the right side of the facing will face the right side of the main fabric. Then go ahead and sew the neckline, and then grab your pocket as well and place on the notched part like this. Right side of the pocket will face the right side of the main fabric. Also repeat the process for the other side and sew. So when I was done, this is what I have. Did you see that? So you can see I'm done with the neckline of the back. I've attached the facing. You'll notch it around and then push it to the wrong side, or the wrong side now. And you can see I've fixed the pocket. And for the front now, I've also fixed the pocket. So I've gone ahead to cut out a band that is about 5 inches. Did you see? The height is 5 inches and the length is able to cover the length of my dress. So you fold it into two to have it as 2.5. You are going to be attaching it on the down part so that your length will increase to the actual length that you are working with. I've also cut out the front part as well, and I added an interfacing, a pepper stay to it. Did you see? On fold is 2.5, but when you open it up is 5 inches. So you want to do that and then go ahead and sew. So the next thing you want to do after you are done sewing is to join the two shoulders. Did you see the two shoulders together, the shoulder of the front and the back, and also join on this other side as well. So after that, after I was done, this is what I have. Did you see the down parts? I use a crepe fabric like I said earlier. You can see I've joined the shoulder. Did you see that? So the next thing is to open it up and attach the band on the sleeve. Attach the band on the sleeve. So I also cut out a band. The height is 5 inches also, and the length is able to cover the sleeve length. So I've attached an interfacing to it. So when you fold it, you are going to have 2 inches. Did you see? Sorry, I cut out 4 inches. So when you fold it, you are going to have 2 inches. By the time you are done joining it, you have 1.5. So I used 4 inches instead of 5. Please take note of that. On fold is 2 inches. So you're going to use ½ inch to attach it to the main fabric. So when you are done, this is what you are going to have. Did you see that? When you are done, this is what you are going to have. Did you see that? Then you want to go ahead and join the side seam. At this point, it was already dark. So but I was trying to finish up the video. So at this point, you want to go ahead and hold the side seam of the front and the back together. So you want to go ahead and sew by ½ inch and then by 1 inch, and on the pocket parts you sew by ½ inch, and then continue your 1 inch to the down part. You also want to do the same for the other side. From the armhole region, you start sewing by 1 inch, and through the pocket you sew ½ inch through the pocket, and then continue with your 1 inch till you get to the down part. So after you are done, this is what you are going to have. You want to notch this part and notch the other part as well. Notch it very well and then flip it to the right side to attach your buttons. So I'll go ahead and make my buttons and attach it on the neck region, on the yoke parts now. So I'll go ahead and attach my button and show you the final result. So after I was done, this is what I have. It came out so beautiful, and perfect. Thank you guys for watching, and if you find this video very interesting, don't forget to give me a like, and please drop a comment for me. Thank you very much, and see you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.